Chapter 1. The night I found out I always thought the night before a wedding should feel warm and calm. Maybe a little scary, but in a good way. People say you feel nervous because your life is about to change forever. I used to imagine the kind of nervous feeling, the soft kind, the happy kind. But the night I found out the truth, the fear in my chest felt different, sharp, cold. Like someone had stabbed me without touching me. It started when I got up to drink water. I wasn't trying to listen. I swear I wasn't. But when I stepped into the hallway, I heard her voice, the voice of the woman I loved more than anything in this world. Mara. Her door was half open. The light from her side of the apartment spilled into the hallway. I heard her whisper, "I can't do it, Adrian. I don't want the wedding. I just want to leave before he notices." My heart stopped. I froze, gripping the water glass so hard it almost slipped. At first, I thought maybe she was rehearsing lines for something or reading a message out loud. Or honestly, I don't know what excuse I was trying to build. But when I heard the name again, it hit me. Adrian. A man who wasn't me. My mind went blank. "I'll meet you at the station," she whispered. Just don't leave without me." My hand shook so violently that the glass slipped and hit the floor. It didn't break, but the sound was loud enough to make Mara jump. Her voice cut off instantly. I heard quick footsteps, and then she stepped out, eyes wide like a scared child. "Oh hey," she said, forcing a smile. "You scared me. Why are you awake?" I looked at her phone clutched in her hand. She quickly hid it behind her back. "I just needed water," I said, trying to keep my voice normal. It wasn't normal. Even a stranger could have heard the crack in it. She tilted her head and smiled softly. "Couldn't sleep. Big day tomorrow." "Yeah, big day." She stared at me for a moment, searching my face like she was afraid I heard something. Then she stepped closer and touched my arm. "You okay? You look pale." I almost asked her right there. "Are you leaving me? Are you running away with another man? Are you trying to escape our wedding?" But instead, I said, "Just tired." She nodded, still studying me with those soft brown eyes I used to trust without thinking. "Get some rest, okay? I'll make breakfast early. We have to meet the planner, right?" I forced a smile. Good night," she whispered. She walked past me, but I could still hear her breathing unevenly. She wasn't calm. She wasn't normal. She wasn't mine, not really. And when she closed the door to her room, I leaned against the wall and let the air leave my lungs in a painful rush. My phone buzzed. A message from my best friend, Leo. "Leo, bro, you awake? Need to talk about your tux." I replied, "Me, can it wait?" "Leo, sure, you okay? You sound weird." I didn't answer. What was I supposed to say? "Yeah, man, I'm good. My fiancé is planning to run away with some guy named Adrian before our wedding." I couldn't even say it to myself yet. I went back to my room, closed the door quietly, and sat on the edge of the bed. My hands were shaking, and every time I tried to breathe, it hurt. My brain kept repeating her words, her soft whisper, her fear. "I don't want the wedding. Meet you at the station. Don't leave without me." I closed my eyes tightly. "No," I whispered to myself. Maybe I heard wrong. Maybe it's something else. Maybe I'm overthinking. But deep down, I wasn't overthinking. I knew exactly what I heard. And no matter how much I tried to lie to myself, the truth kept stabbing me over and over. I lay down, but sleep didn't come. My mind wouldn't stop racing. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, the face of the woman I planned my whole future with. The woman I trusted more than my own heartbeat. The woman who looked at me earlier and smiled like nothing was wrong around 3 a.m. My mom texted me. She always sensed things before they happened. "Mom, you okay? Something feels off." I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "Me, I'm okay." Another lie. She didn't reply. Maybe she knew I wasn't telling the truth. Maybe she felt the storm coming before I did. I rolled over and stared at the ceiling. The silence felt louder than any scream. I thought of everything we had been through, our dates, our fights, our promises, our dreams. I thought of how many times I told her I would never leave her, no matter what. And now she was the one planning to leave me. Right before our vows. Right before the happiest day of my life. Right before everything I thought we were building. My chest tightened again. I placed my hand over it, trying to hold myself together as the first tear slipped down my cheek. That night, I learned something I never wanted to learn. Love doesn't always protect you. Sometimes, it destroys you quietly while you're still holding on to it. And sometimes, the person you love the most is the one who teaches you what heartbreak truly feels like. Chapter 2. Her lies taste sweet. The next morning, I woke up with a headache that felt like a hammer inside my skull. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Mara whispering his name again. But when I walked into the kitchen, she was humming as she cooked breakfast. Humming. Like she didn't almost destroy me last night. "Good morning," she said brightly. "I made your favorite." I stared at the food: eggs, toast, and tea. "My favorite." She smiled like the perfect fiancé, the kind every man dreams of. But her eyes, they didn't look at me for more than a second. She kept glancing at the counter where her phone sat. "Morning," I muttered, sitting down. "You look tired," she said, placing the plate in front of me. "Bad dreams." "Something like that," I said. She laughed lightly. "Well, try to smile. Only a few days until the wedding." Her words hit me like a punch. How could she say that so easily? I forced a smile. "Yeah, a few days." She sat across from me, tapping her fingers against her cup. "We should finish the seating chart today. And Mom wants to meet your mom about the gift table. Also, you seem excited." I cut in. She froze for half a second. "Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?" I looked right at her. "I don't know. You tell me." The silence stretched. For a moment, I thought she would confess something, anything. But she just laughed again. Too quickly. "You're acting weird today." "I'm fine," I lied. She took a sip of her tea. "Good. Because we have a lot to do." I tried to eat, but everything tasted like cardboard. The room felt warm. My stomach twisted with every fake smile she threw at me. Meanwhile, her phone buzzed twice, and every time it did, she jumped like someone had slapped her. I finally said, "You waiting for someone?" She looked up sharply. "What? No. Why?" "You keep staring at your phone," I said. She shrugged. "Just wedding stuff, right?" "Wedding stuff." More like running away with Adrian's stuff. The front door opened suddenly, and her sister, Mia, walked in. She always came over without warning, which I usually didn't mind. But today her eyes flicked between us too fast, like she sensed something was off. "Hey," Mia said, forcing a smile. "Everyone awake?" "Barely," I said. Mara shot her a warning look, one I almost missed. Mia pressed her lips together and sat down. "So," Mia said slowly, "how are you two?" "We're fine," Mara said quickly. I didn't respond. Mia noticed. She tilted her head. "You sure? Because we're fine," Mara snapped. Mia shut her mouth. I stared at Mara. The tone wasn't normal. That tone was fear. Fear of something slipping out after a few awkward minutes. Mia excused herself to check on Mom and left. The moment the door closed, Mara sighed loudly and rubbed her temples. "She's been so stressful lately," she muttered. "She didn't seem stressful," I said. "She always interferes," Mara snapped. Her anger felt misplaced. Or maybe it was guilt. Maybe she just worried. I said. "About what?" she asked sharply. I looked down at my plate. "About you." She went quiet. Too quiet. I didn't mean anything negative, I said softly. "I know," she whispered. But her shoulders were stiff. Her jaw was tight. Something inside her was breaking, and she was afraid I could see it. Around noon, my mom called me. I picked up. "Hey, Mom, you sound tired," she said. "Are you all right?" "I'm okay." "That doesn't sound like okay." I closed my eyes. "It's just stress." "Wedding stuff, she said. "Don't ignore your heart, son." I swallowed hard. "I won't." "Good. Come over later, okay?" I made lunch. "I'll try." When I hung up, Mara stepped closer. Was that your mom? Yeah. She doesn't like me, Mara said quietly. That's not true. It is. She stared at the table. Sometimes I feel like everyone hates me. I looked at her carefully. Was that guilt talking or manipulation? I couldn't tell anymore. That's not it, I said. People only worry because they care. She didn't answer. Instead, she walked to the sink and started washing dishes with more force than needed. I watched her hands tremble. Around evening, Leo called. Bro, he said, you vanished. You alive? Barely. I said, talk to me. Can't. Not right now. Did you fight? No. Then what's going on? I don't know. Leo, I just don't know. He went quiet for a moment. If something's wrong, tell me, please. I almost told him everything, but the words wouldn't come out. I'm fine, I whispered instead. He sighed. If you need me, I'm here. I know. When I hung up, I walked into the living room and found Mara on the couch, staring at her phone with glossy eyes. Everything okay? I asked. She wiped her eyes quickly. Yeah, just tired. Her phone buzzed again. She flinched. I pretended not to notice. Want to watch something? She asked. Sure. We sat together, but it felt like sitting beside a stranger. She leaned against my shoulder. Her touch used to make me feel warm. Today it felt heavy, like she was hiding behind me instead of loving me. Near midnight, she whispered, you still love me, right? My throat tightened. Yeah, I do. She smiled weakly. Good. Don't stop, okay? I didn't answer, because deep down, I knew love alone wouldn't save us anymore. Chapter 3. The messages I wasn't meant to see. The next morning, I woke up with a strange feeling in my chest. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't anger. It felt like a heavy rock sitting right on top of my heart. I kept telling myself not to think about last night or yesterday, but my brain wouldn't listen. Mara was already up. I heard her talking in the kitchen, her voice low, almost a whisper. At first, I thought she was on the phone again, but when I opened the door, she stopped talking immediately. Hey, she said, forcing a smile. I was just checking the grocery list. Right, I said. Her phone was in her hand again, always in her hand. We need to meet the planner by noon, she said, and we should finalize the vows today too. I wrote something last night. Want to hear it? My throat tightened. Sure. She opened a notebook and read in a soft voice. I promise to stay with you in good times and bad times. I promise to support you, to stand by your side, to make you my partner in every moment. I stared at her face as she read. The words sounded beautiful, sweet, pure. But all I could hear was her whisper from 2 nights ago. I don't want the wedding. Meet you at the station. Don't leave without me. Did she feel anything when she lied to my face like this? When she finished, she asked, what do you think? It's nice. I said, just nice. She asked, her voice small. Beautiful. I corrected. Really beautiful. She smiled and closed the notebook like she wanted to believe my reaction. But she could see something was off. I could tell by the way her eyes narrowed slightly. Are you sure you're okay? She asked again. I'm fine. You didn't sleep again, right? Not much, I admitted. She reached for my hand. You're worrying too much. Everything is going to be perfect. Perfect. The word felt like a joke. I didn't answer. Instead, I took a cup from the shelf and made myself coffee. My hand shook so badly that Mara stepped forward. Let me help, she said softly. I got it. She watched me for a long time before saying, I wish you trusted me more. I turned to her. Do you feel like I don't? She pressed her lips together. You're different lately. Distant. I almost laughed at the irony. She was the one planning to run away, yet she was accusing me of being distant. Before I could respond, her phone buzzed again twice. She grabbed it so fast the air moved. Who's that? I asked quietly. Wedding group chat, she said quickly, not even checking. Let me see, I said. Her hand tightened around the phone. Why? I stared at her. Because you look like you're hiding something. I'm not, she whispered. Then show me. She froze. Her eyes darted around like she was searching for an escape. Adrian, I asked. The name tasted bitter in my mouth. Her shoulders stiffened. No, she said too fast. No, of course not. Then let me see, I repeated. She hugged the phone to her chest. Why are you doing this? Why don't you trust me? Because you're lying to me, I said, my voice cracking. Her lips trembled. I'm not lying. Another buzz. She nearly jumped out of her skin. I held out my hand. Give it to me. No. Mara, no. She yelled, stepping back. The sound echoed across the kitchen. She stood there shaking, clutching her phone like it was life or death. I took a slow breath. What are you hiding from me? Her eyes filled with tears. Nothing, I swear. So show me. She stared at me for a long, painful moment. Then slowly, very slowly, she unlocked her phone. But she didn't give it to me. Instead, she turned the screen away and typed something fast like she was deleting messages. Mara, I said, feeling my chest burn. What are you doing? I'm just clearing some old stuff. She whispered. No, I said, stepping closer. You're deleting something? She shook her head, tears running down her face. It's not what you think. Then, give me the phone. I can't, she whispered. The world went quiet. She wouldn't, because she was hiding something she knew would break me. I felt something snap inside me. Not loudly, more like a quiet tear. The kind you don't notice until you bleed. Without saying another word, I walked past her and sat on the couch. I needed air. I needed space. I needed the truth. She followed me slowly. Can we talk? I think we should, I said. She sat across from me, wiping her cheeks again and again. I know I've been strange lately. That's one way to put it. And I know you think something is wrong. Because something is wrong. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her hand shook. Her breathing was uneven. She looked like someone who had run a marathon, but still had somewhere else to go. Finally, she whispered, please don't hate me. My stomach dropped. Mara, what are you hiding? She looked at her phone again, then at me, then back at her phone. And with a voice so small it almost broke me, she said, I don't know how to tell you the truth without losing you. Chapter 4. The night everything shifted. The house felt different that night, not louder, not quieter, just as strange. Like the walls were listening, waiting for something to happen. I walked into the living room and found Aisha sitting on the floor beside the coffee table. Her wedding dress sketches spread out like broken pieces of a puzzle. She didn't hear me come in. Or maybe she did and just didn't care. Her shoulders were shaking. She was crying into her hands. Aisha, I said softly. She froze. Then she wiped her face quickly, pretending nothing happened. Oh hey, she whispered. Her voice was thin, cracked. You're home. Why are you crying? She laughed, the kind of laugh that hurts your chest to hear. I'm not. I swear I'm fine. I sat beside her. Not too close, not too far, just enough to show I was here if she wanted me. You don't have to pretend with me, I said gently. She looked at me, then really looked. For the first time in days, maybe weeks. Her eyes were red, tired, scared. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, she whispered. I stayed silent. She continued. I feel like everything is moving too fast. The wedding, the house, the expectations. Everyone telling me what I should be, what I should feel. She pressed her fingers to her forehead, overwhelmed. And then there's you. I blinked. Me. You're good, she said quietly. You're patient and kind and steady. You make me feel safe. And maybe that should be enough. But sometimes it scares me because I don't understand why you're still trying. Her words cut deeper than she knew. I'm trying, I said, because I chose you. But what if I'm not choosing you back? She whispered. The room felt colder. My heart pounded like it wanted out of my chest. But I didn't raise my voice. I didn't grab her hand. I didn't beg. I just asked one question. Do you still want this wedding? Aisha didn't answer. Her silence was louder than any lie. After a long moment, she whispered, "I don't know." I breathed in slowly, fighting the sharp pain behind my ribs. "Okay," I said softly. "Then let's pause everything. No pressure. No forcing. Let's figure this out." Her eyes widened. She didn't expect kindness. Maybe she expected anger or disappointment. Instead, I stood up and began picking up the papers scattered around her. "You're more important than a date on a calendar," I said. "Talk to me when you're ready." I walked away before she could see the emotion burning in my eyes. Tonight, something cracked between us. Not enough to break, but enough to change everything. Chapter 5. Her secret slipped out the next morning. Aisha woke up before me. I heard her footsteps moving quietly through the house, like she didn't want to disturb the air. I stayed in bed for a moment, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of her unanswered words from last night. "I don't know." It echoed again and again. I finally got up, walked to the kitchen and stopped. Aisha was on the phone, not smiling, not relaxed, whispering. Her back was turned to me, shoulders tight, like she was hiding inside her own body. Her fingers gripped the edge of the counter so hard her knuckles went pale. "I can't talk right now," she whispered urgently. "He's awake. Please, just stop calling me for a while." My stomach dropped. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. She ended the call quickly and spun around. When she saw me, she froze. "Who was that?" I asked quietly. Her lips parted, but no words came out. "Just tell me," I said. "No fighting, no anger." Aisha looked down at her hands. "It was someone from before us." I asked. "No, before the wedding plans." Something sharp settled in my chest. "So during us." She didn't deny it. That hurt more than the truth itself. "It's nothing now," she said fast. "It's over. I'm just trying to handle everything." "Aisha, who is he?" She swallowed hard. "A friend." The lie was so thin, it almost broke in the air. "A friend wouldn't call you like that," I said softly. "Not early morning, not whispering, not hiding." She winced, like my calm tone hurt more than shouting would. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "A stupid, emotional mistake." I stepped back. My heart felt like someone pressed a hand into it and twisted. "What kind of mistake?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. She covered her face. I talked to him for a few weeks. It wasn't serious, but I shouldn't have. I should have told you. You didn't want me to know." I finished for her. She nodded slowly. Silence stretched between us, heavy, painful, suffocating. "Aisha," I said after a moment, "why didn't you just tell me you were confused?" "Because you kept choosing me," she said, her voice trembling. "And I kept feeling like I was failing you. And he was an escape, a distraction. Nothing real." But the truth hit me hard. Distraction or not, she had run to someone else. She came close, her voice shaking. "I swear I ended it. I swear." "Why?" I asked. "For me." She hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. Not for me. For herself. Because she panicked. Because things got messy. Because she was scared. I breathed in slowly, fighting the sting behind my eyes. "You should have told me," I whispered. Aisha's eyes filled with tears, spilling over as she reached out. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I stepped back before her hand could touch mine, not to punish her, but to protect myself from breaking too fast, too soon. She covered her mouth with her hands, sobbing quietly. For the first time, I realized something painful. She wasn't the only one confused. So was I. And now, something fragile between us had snapped. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough for me to feel the cold. Chapter 6. She tried to fix. What she broke at the house felt heavier after her confession. Like every wall knew something was wrong. Aisha spent the whole day walking around me like she was afraid to get too close. Afraid to make things worse. Every time our eyes met, she looked away first. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I didn't ask 100 questions. I just stayed quiet. Sometimes silence is louder than anger. By evening, She finally gathered the courage to sit beside me on the couch. Her voice was small. "Can we talk?" I nodded, but I didn't look at her. I stared at the blank TV screen instead, seeing my own tired reflection. "I know I hurt you," she said, "and I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I want us to try." "Try what?" I asked softly. She took a shaky breath. "To rebuild, to find each other again." I finally turned to look at her. Her face was wet with fresh tears, but there was something new in her eyes, fear. Real fear of losing me. "Aisha," I said quietly, "you had something for me for weeks. I know. You ran to someone else. I know." She whispered again, her voice breaking. "You were planning to walk into a marriage with me while keeping the secret." She dropped her head, unable to meet my gaze. I continued, my voice calm but tired. "Do you understand how that feels?" She nodded quickly, then wiped her tears like a child who didn't want to be scolded. "It feels like I wasn't enough," I said, "like you needed something I couldn't give." She grabbed my hand suddenly, desperate. "No, that's not it. You're more than enough. You always were. I'm the one who messed up. But why did you?" I asked. Aisha went quiet, and then, slowly, painfully, the truth came out. "I got scared," she said. "Everyone kept saying how perfect you are, how lucky I am, how the wedding will be beautiful. And instead of feeling happy, I felt trapped. Trapped by what? By pressure," she whispered. "By the idea that I had to be perfect too. And when I started doubting myself, he just showed up at the wrong time. And I used him to escape my own thoughts." Her voice cracked. "It wasn't about love. It was about fear." I closed my eyes for a moment. Fear, not love. It helped, but it didn't erase the hurt. She squeezed my hand tighter, her voice trembling. "I ended it because I realized I didn't want anyone else. I wanted you." I didn't pull my hand away this time, but I didn't squeeze back either. "We can fix this," she whispered. "Please, just don't give up on me." Her plea was so raw, so broken. That part of me softened in spite of myself. But the other part, the part she wounded, that part stayed quiet, unsure. "I'm not giving up," I said finally, "but I need time." Her lips trembled. "How much time?" "I don't know yet." And that scared her more than anything else. Because for the first time, she realized she wasn't the only one who could leave. Chapter 7. The cracks beneath the count. For the next few days, something strange happened between us. Aisha really tried. She woke up early to make breakfast. She texted me every few hours. She held my hand more than she ever used to. She even left little notes on my desk like, "I'm sorry, and I'm learning." Anyone else would think we were healing. But inside me, something was shifting. I wasn't angry anymore. That was the dangerous part. Anger means you still care. Silence. Silence means you're drifting. One evening, after work, she ran to me at the door like she used to in the old days. "Hey," she said with a soft smile. "I made dinner. Your favorite." I nodded, but she caught at the hesitation, the distance. "Are you okay?" she asked. "I'm fine," I answered, even though fine was the last thing I was. We sat at the dining table together. She kept looking at me, waiting for a spark, a sign, anything. But the spark wasn't there. Halfway through dinner, she finally asked the question she'd been avoiding. "Do you still love me?" I looked up, and I swear her eyes were begging for a yes. Begging for something to save her from the fear eating her alive. But love isn't a switch. "I don't know," I said quietly. Those 3 words shattered her. She dropped her fork, her voice trembling. "What do you mean you don't know?" "I'm trying to find the answer," I said. "But everything feels different now." Aisha shook her head, tears already forming. No, we can fix this. You love me. You always loved me. I loved who I thought you were," I said. "But now I'm trying to understand who you really are." She covered her face. "Please don't say that. Please don't make me lose you." I stood and walked to the balcony because I needed air. She followed me, almost running. "Tell me what to do," she cried. Tell me how to make this right. I turned to her, and for the first time, she saw it to the emptiness growing inside me. I don't need you to fix anything, I said. I need to understand if I can still stay. Her breath caught. Stay? You're thinking about leaving. I didn't say that, I replied, but I'm not blindly holding on anymore. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back, not on purpose. Not to hurt her, but because something in me wouldn't let me move forward, and she felt it. She started crying harder, not loud, not dramatic, just broken. I'm losing you, she whispered. I didn't answer. Because silence is sometimes the clearest truth, she slowly walked back inside. I stayed on the balcony, staring at the city lights, wondering when loving her had turned into surviving her. And for the first time since everything happened, I wondered if I was meant to walk away in the end. Chapter 8. The message that changed everything next morning felt heavier than all the ones before. Aisha barely spoke during breakfast. Her eyes were swollen, her hands shaking a little when she poured tea. She kept trying to smile, but every smile fell apart halfway. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what I felt, and that scared me more than anger ever could. I left for work early just to get some space. The peace didn't last long. Around noon, my phone vibrated. A notification. A name I never wanted to see again. Hassan. Her almost escape. Her hidden comfort zone. The person she used to run to when she felt overwhelmed. The screen showed one message. Bro, I'm sorry for everything. I thought you should know she called me last night. My stomach dropped. I stared at the text for a long second, refusing to believe it. Then another message came, short and sharp. She said she misses talking to me. I froze in my office chair. My heart. It didn't break this time. It just went cold. Completely cold. I didn't reply. I didn't call him. I didn't even breathe properly. Instead, I grabbed my keys, left the office without a word, and drove home faster than I should have. When I walked into the house, Aisha was in the living room sorting through old photos, probably more effort to fix us. She looked up and smiled, the kind of smile someone uses when they're trying to hold on to something slipping away. You're home here. Did you call him last night? I asked. Her smile died instantly. She blinked. What? You heard me. Her throat tightened. I only called him because I felt lost. I didn't mean anything by it. I swear. My voice stayed steady. Too steady. After everything we just went through, you still needed him. No. It wasn't like that. I didn't talk about love or anything. I was just scared and you ran to him again. Aisha grabbed my arm, tears already falling. Please listen. I didn't betray you again. I promise. I just needed someone who what? I snapped quietly. Who wasn't me? She froze. Her silence was the answer. I stepped back, and her hand slipped off my arm like a last thread breaking. I told you I needed time, I said, and the first thing you did was run to the person you said meant nothing. Aisha's voice cracked. It wasn't romantic, I swear. That doesn't make it better. She fell to her knees, crying harder. Please, don't leave me. Don't walk away. I'm trying. I'm really trying, for the first time. I believed her, but it didn't matter. Trying meant nothing if she kept choosing the wrong place to run. I looked at her, this woman I once loved so intensely. This woman who broke something inside me without even understanding how deep the cut was. Aisha. I whispered, I think you love me, but you don't respect me. Her breath hitched. I can handle pain. I said, I can handle mistakes, but I can't handle being second place in your moments of weakness. She shook her head, crying uncontrollably. Please don't say that. You're not second. You never were. Then why? I asked softly. Do you always choose him when you're scared? She didn't answer. She couldn't. Something inside me settled in that moment, not anger, not hatred, just clarity. I looked down at her, trembling on the floor, and a truth whispered in my chest. This time, I might be the one who walks away. Chapter 9. When leaving became the only way to stay alive, didn't sleep that night. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to Aisha cry quietly on her side of the bed. She thought I was asleep, but I wasn't. My mind kept replaying her words, her tears, her fear, and her choices. Every time she felt lost, she ran to him. Not to herself, not to me, to him. And I finally asked myself the question I'd been avoiding. If she needed saving, why wasn't I the person she trusted to save her? Around 3 a.m., she whispered into the dark, "Please don't leave me." Her voice cracked like she was pleading with a ghost. But I kept my eyes open, staring at the faint glow of the streetlight coming through the curtains. I wasn't leaving in anger. I wasn't leaving in revenge. I wasn't leaving to punish her. I was leaving because staying was slowly destroying me. When morning came, I got out of bed quietly. She sat up quickly, eyes swollen, voice shaky. "Where are you going?" "Out," I said. "Can we talk before you leave?" Her voice was desperate. I finally looked at her. She looked ruined, hair messy, face pale, eyes tired from crying. She looked like someone who finally understood consequences. But some consequences arrived too late. "We talked," I said softly, "but nothing changed." "I'll change," she cried. "I'll block him, delete him, swear to never contact him again." "Aisha," I interrupted. "It's not about him. It's about you." She froze. "It's about who you become when you're scared, who you run to, what you think you deserve, and what I'm forced to accept." She covered her mouth with her hand, crying again. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "I know," I said. "You never meant to, but you did. A meaning doesn't undo damage." She stood up and grabbed my arm, fingers trembling. "Just give me one more chance. One last chance. Don't walk away." I stared at her grip on my sleeve, desperate, shaking, terrified. For years, I chased her. I begged for attention she gave to others. I stayed loyal to someone who didn't respect loyalty. I loved someone who didn't understand love. Now, she was the one begging. "Aisha, I need space," I said quietly. "Real space, not just a short break." "What does that mean?" she whispered. "It means I'm going to my brother's place for a while," I said. "I need to think, without pressure, without guilt, without you crying in front of me and expecting me to heal instantly." She shook her head violently. "No, if you walk out the door, you won't come back." Her voice cracked on the last word. And maybe she was right. I gently pulled her hand away from my arm. "Please," she begged. "Please don't walk away from me." I inhaled slowly, feeling something inside me, something I once called love, finally stop fighting. "I gave you everything," I whispered. "You gave your fears to someone else." Her knees went weak again, and she dropped to the floor. But this time, I didn't kneel with her. I opened the front door. Her voice trembled behind me, soft and broken. "Don't leave me. I'll do anything. Please." I didn't turn around, because if I did, I knew I would stay. And staying would destroy whatever was left of me. So I stepped outside, closed the door gently, and for the first time in this entire story, I walked away. Chapter 10. The day she finally understood. He spent the next week at my brother's place. No wedding talk, no forced smiles, no shaking hands or late night arguments. Just silence. Quiet enough to hear myself for the first time in months. I didn't block Aisha, but I didn't answer her either. She called every night. She texted every morning. Some messages were long apologies. Some were desperate. Some were just words. "I'm sorry." But I said nothing. The strange thing was, I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt in the same way. I was tired. So tired that even love felt heavy. One afternoon, when my brother stepped out, I finally drove back to the house, not to stay, just to close the circle. When I walked inside, Aisha was sitting on the living room floor, hugging her knees, as if she'd been waiting there for days. The moment she saw me, she stood so fast she nearly fell. "You came back," she whispered, "for my things." I said. Her face broke, but she didn't cry. Not loudly, not like before. She walked up to me slowly, voice thin. Can you listen? One last time." I nodded once. "Say what you need to say." She took a shaky breath. I was wrong, she said. Not just about him. About everything. I thought fear was a reason to run. I thought doubt was a reason to test you. I thought you would always be here no matter how much I messed up. Her voice trembled. And I didn't realize that love has limits. Until you reached yours. I stayed quiet. She continued. You weren't perfect, but you were steady. You gave me peace. You gave me patience. And I didn't know how to handle a love that didn't hurt. She wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand. I kept running to him because I was scared of disappointing you. But every time I ran, I was actually losing the only person who ever fought for me. Her chest rose and fell as she tried to breathe. I know it's too late. I know you're leaving. I know I created this ending myself. But I want you to know something. She looked straight into my eyes, broken, honest, stripped of excuses. You were the best thing that ever came into my life. And I ruined it. My throat tightened, not because of her words, but because for the first time, she finally understood. Aisha, I said softly, I love you so much that I forgot myself. I gave everything hoping you would meet me halfway. But every time you were scared, you didn't choose me. She nodded, tears sliding silently down her face. I know, she whispered, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I picked up my suitcase from the corner. She didn't stop me. She didn't collapse. She didn't beg. She just stood there, shaking, watching me leave the same way I once watched her walk away from us, and her heart died at the door. She finally spoke one last time. Will you ever forgive me? I already have, I said. Forgiving you is easy. Forgetting is impossible. Her breath hitched. And coming back, she asked, voice breaking. I shook my head gently. If I stay, I'll lose myself. And I've spent too long trying to save someone who never learned how to save me. I opened the door and stepped outside. This time, she didn't chase me. She didn't pull my arm. She didn't scream. She whispered one final sentence instead. I hope you find someone who knows how to hold you without fear. I closed the door on that sentence not out of cruelty, but because I knew if I stayed even a second longer, my heart would try to excuse everything again. As I walked to my car, I felt something strange, not relief, not victory, not anger. Just a quiet, steady peace. The kind of peace that comes when you finally choose yourself. And that's how the story ends. She planned to run from our vows. I treated her better than she ever expected. But in the end, I was the one who walked away.